Dota 2 fans, and welcome to another edition of Join Dota League Season 4. These are the tiebreakers in the Europe Division 1. I am Morris, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. This is HeflaTV. We have House of Gamers versus Moscow 5 International, and as always, I am joined by the lovely and talented Grandis V. Grandis, are you with me, buddy?
I am with you, and as always, lovely and talented. This is going to be a best of one between House of Gamers and Moscow 5 International. As far as the standings inside the Join Dota League is concerned, I believe this is just going to be one game, and the winner of it, if it is Moscow 5, they have to win in faster than 33 minutes and 18 seconds. As if they do win, it would leave us at 1-1 for all three of the tied standings.
Yeah, that is correct. Official times on the game. Album Sheet beating Moscow 5 in 51 minutes and 21 seconds. As you mentioned, House of Gamers beat Album Sheet in 33 minutes and 18 seconds. So if they're in between the two times, they'll finish second. If they're beyond 51-21, third. And if they beat in quicker than 33-18, they will be in first. Regardless, though, all three of these teams still destined for the playoffs. This is just a matter of seeding at this point, which is still pretty influential in jDL, as you basically get to go one round advanced into the playoffs for every position ahead of your opponents here. So we will hop into the draft here. Odds on Dota2BestYOLO.com, 51%, 49% in favor of Moscow 5, so about dead even there, and fans can't get a beat on this matchup. Should be a very good one here. We will see Elder Titan Tide pick up here from HoG, so two very strong heroes early on, but nothing to scoff at from M5 as well. They pick up the Brewmaster and the Venge.
Yeah, both teams getting some really high-powered heroes. Vengeful Spirit and Brewmaster can give them some nice utility inside the team fights, as well as some good team fight power. But then again, House of Gamers are not slouches either when it comes to that, with Tidehunter Ravage, as well as the Elder Titan and his aura. Potentially the start of a minus armor strategy coming out from House of Gamers, but even if they just leave the damage amplification where it is with the Gush as well as Natural Order, it's still pretty significant. As far as our bans are concerned, in the next stage, we'll actually see Moscow 5 take out the Draw Ranger themselves, which is actually pretty peculiar to me. I would have thought that they'd be looking to pick that one up for their team.
Yeah, and you definitely would have wanted to leave it into the pool, at least to waste a ban of HoG, but it looks like they'll opt to do that themselves, banning out the Tinker, who hasn't been very effective at all in this meta, or even really looked at from either team. Excalibur is a pretty good Tinker himself, but they're actually going to ban that from that side of HoG. Something to note for sure, Jalopy is a regular member of HoG, but Bignum being stood in for on the side of M5 in what is a pretty impactful and significant game here. So we'll see how M5 does work with Slander. He has stood in for them in the past, so they should be not too bad in terms of chemistry with that, but certainly something to note in this one.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams are definitely coming in at close to top potential, if not top potential, but yeah, House of Gamers might be just a slightly more comfortable with the players that they're going in with. As far as this next pick is concerned, there's not really anything telling about the first two from House of Gamers. They offer a lot to pretty much any style of lineup. For now, it could honestly be anything, but for Moscow 5, since they do want to end this game a little bit earlier on, potentially they're going to look for a more death ball push as soon as the Brewmaster gets his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that will certainly be the cue for some aggression for the side of Moscow. For the side of House of Gamers, they do have the Elder Titan Tide combo, so generally you will see this Tide in the offlane with the Elder Titan relegated to support responsibilities here, but we could see a safe lane Tide with that Elder Titan in the offlane, and it will be interesting to see how they lane that. Usually a little bit more of a farm heavy hero going towards their one position in Excalibur, so don't really expect this ET to be a core, but he will be an effective hero nonetheless, and hopefully we'll be able to garner some levels from the safe lane if that's where he ends up. Are eating quite into their reserve time here for HoG, so we'll see if they continue to pick up a core, or perhaps they pick up a support to duo up with this Elder Titan.
For sure, right now it looks like there is a little bit of mic issues, at least on the stream. Maybe you're a little too loud, maybe I'm a little too soft, so let me see if I can go ahead and remedy that a little bit. Okay, looks like I'm maxed out, so probably is on your end.
Alright, I will turn down some of the other sounds then for you guys. Get my mic down a bit, and hopefully that'll look good, and I'll turn everything else up, and hopefully things will be rectified in that sense. Either way, still hopping through the draft here, guys. OBS a little bit low.
Puck.
So we will see a puck pickup here from HoG, so a little bit more control from their lineup. The Waning Rift will be available there to take down this Brewmaster. If they can burst him down before the primal split gets off, that's going to hinder Moscow 5's team fight. But we will see the terror from the barrier, the Cobalt and the Snowball Tusk, and that is how we do it in the north. Sorry, I'm Canadian, guys. I can't help myself. Tusk is going to be picked up here from Moscow 5 into a very strong support duo in the Venge Tusk, if that's what it ends up being, with a lot of roaming and ganking capability.
For sure, and it's something that Moscow 5 do love running. Screen Tusk is one of his signature heroes, and it's always a pleasure to watch him play it. For House of Gamers, it's going to be a dazzle for them, so they do have a decent amount of minus armor amplification, but right now nobody to really benefit from that. Looking for a really hard-hitting, right-clicking core as their fifth.
Yeah, we will see a dazzle pickup here from HoG. So they will have the Grave to keep up some of these squishier heroes like the Puck here. He is pretty elusive, and the Grave will often allow him to survive most of these engagements with the Phase and the Jaunt out. They will see a Luna pickup here to round out the 4th pick for Moscow 5. So they are picking up some hard carry. Looks like they're still in need of an offlaner at this point, so that'll help out HoG with the bans. But other than that, pretty straightforward thus far aside from this Tusk pick.
Yeah, and even that Tusk pick for Moscow 5, it is a pretty straightforward choice for them. And I quite like the way that they're going about this draft with the double auras coming out from the Venge and Luna, already a nice amount of early game fighting and pushing potential. House of Gamer is actually going to ban out the Huskar. Very interesting. Not exactly sure if that's entirely warranted, but it would have fit nicely with their aggressive playstyle coming out from M5N.
Yeah, if they did pick up the Huskar, they would have had to put the Brewmaster in the off lane, presumably, so he would have been a little bit longer on the timing on his Blink Dagger, but they do have the life break from the Huskar, so they would have had some initiation offered from that, and of course the Primal Split, just potent in itself without the Blink. So, interesting ban here, but yeah, not something you would expect to see come out, and we will see the Meepo ban, however, come out from M5, and that is certainly somewhat of a respect ban against the lineup of HoG.
Okay, so it looks like the Skype issues are still prevalent, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recall you and ask that you turn off automatic Skype settings, because I think whenever you're not talking, it ups your static.
Okay. TB going to be the final pickup here from HoG, guys. Going to bring Brigandus V back in here.
Okay, so hopefully that fixes things, or at least makes it a little bit better. Yeah, for last pick for House of Gamers is going to be Terrorblade. It's a hard-hitting physical damage. I was talking about earlier, it is going to be the TV for them, and it comes online at a decent time, and once they have those levels up in the other Titan, it can get really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely an insurance policy of sorts for HoG here, and they will be able to translate into that late game fairly well with that TB if they are able to create some space for them, and they do have the wherewithal to do so with the Puck and the Tidehunter. One thing I do worry for HoG, they are lacking a little bit of lockdown with the Dazzle Elder Titan combo, and speaking of lockdown, Axe going to be the final pickup here for the side of M5, so it'll be interesting to see how they can control the tempo of this game with this Axe Tusk Venge roaming combo.
For sure, and it is going to be interesting to see. Moscow 5 quite literally need to snowball themselves to victory. Pun probably intended, but it's one you've heard a million times if you watch Moscow 5 in. But either way, I'm quite excited about this game. Axe is really nice to have up against the Dazzle to ensure that Shallow Grave isn't very reliable.
Yeah, of course, that Culling Blade does go through the Shallow Grave, so not too worried about that Dazzle there, and they should be able to translate this into a pretty aggressive mid-game. We'll introduce the teams. On the Radiant, we've got Moscow 5 International Screen playing up on the Tusk. PGG, please go game. On the Vengeful Spirit in the mid lane, we will see Slander, the stand-in, playing on the Brewmaster, and ZXC on the Luna joining the aggressive tri-lane with the safe lane Axe being picked up by Necroman.
And on the side of House of Gamers, currently heading towards the offlane, we're going to have Malum playing on the Puck. Towards the mid, looks like they're going to send a Tidehunter played by Slashstrike in their safe lane tri-lane with the Terrorblade handled by Excalibur. Jalopy supporting on the Dazzle, and last but not least, Elder Titan by a moment.
Yeah, a moment played up on this Elder Titan as well in the first game versus Album Sheet. We did have Jalopy on the Dazzle too, so certainly a combo that they do like to run. They may run into the Elder Titan here in the top lane, but only have the skill for Luna. No Lucent Beam available there, so Lunar Blessing was skilled up at level 1 for the help with last hitting, and unfortunately they won't have any aggressive potential here, and it looks like things will stagnate. They did place a Deep Observer Ward in the lane, so that'll give them some information as to who is pulling and when they are able to cue the aggression on the heroes in lane.
For sure, right now, the mid Tide Hunter is something that we might want to talk about, but then again, it looks like they're going to switch up these lanes, sending Excalibur towards the mid. If it is just the mid Brewmaster, it's a lane that Terrorblade can handle decently well, although not the ideal matchup for him. I would have liked to see them keep the Tide Hunter in mid.
Yeah, as would have I, but we'll see how things pan out for them. It looks like they will perhaps rotate the dual lanes. For now, we will see screen towards the bottom lane on the Tusk, so we'll see how strong that is up against Malum's Puck, but he should have a pretty good time. I don't think there's too much kill potential on him at this point.
For sure, right now, there really isn't much that they can do to look for kills, especially since Screen has parted ways with the Venge. He is making his way up towards top, but without those two together, looking for kills is quite a bit harder for their team. Excalibur has gone for Metamorphosis level 1, and whenever he has that meta cooldown up, can take over the lane pretty effectively just with the range and damage advantage over the Brewmaster. But when it's down, Brewmaster just shoving the wave and being able to man fight up against him should give him a slight edge. The tri-lane's where we should probably see most of the action coming out, or wherever this Tusk and Venge roam to.
Yeah, Axe should be able to find his farm bottom, especially if he gets up a Stout Shield or a PMS. And there is a Snowball top lane. They are going to go in towards Slash Strike here. That's going to land. Shadow Wave is their magic missile as well. There should be a Loosen Beam fairly soon if he's able to level, but he won't get their Screen taking too much harass. He's going to have to back off, and the Tide Hunter will salve up for the time being, and they'll stave off the aggression. Magic Missile goes out onto Jalopy, though. Few right clicks are there. Shadow Wave once again keeping him up. Screen in a dangerous way. He's going to catch an Anchor Smash. He will dodge it with the Snowball after. Go towards the Dazzle. One more right click. They're going to bring down Jalopy. That's first blood for Moscow 5 in PGG. Going to be next to fall, however, and it will be a 1-to-1 trade in the top lane. Actually, the Tusk falling as well, so 2-to-1 go in the way of HoG, but they will find the first blood gold on Jalopy's Dazzle.
Yeah, I think more or less it's a wash. If anything, it's going to slightly favor HoG because of the heroes, but another Snowball going straight for a moment with the Magic Missile follow-up. A moment is completely screwed, and now Slash Strike also going to take quite a bit of harass, although it's unlikely he's going to fall. We'll be able to walk that one off, but still, Moscow 5 International is showing the strength of these heroes all together, just with the raw amount of damage they're able to put out.
Yeah, absolutely. Does look like this aggressive trial lane working out to some extent early on. We will see Jalopy rotate towards the mid. He's going to either secure or find this bounty rune. He will pick it up for himself there, and there will be some rotations over from PGG and Scream. We'll look to see if they go mid lane. They place an Observer Ward over this rune here, but they are spotted out. At least the Vengeful is, and they actually ping out Screen's Tusk as well. So Excalibur going to play a little bit defensively. He's postured up back towards his tower and should be okay for the time being. We'll see Screen rotate out into the river.
Yeah, if they were able to connect with that combination, although Terrorblade does have a decent amount of armor, to save him from the right clicks of those heroes, the Snowball, Magic Missile, and the Clap are all going to hit so hard. Up towards top and pressing upon ZXC. They do get the stomp off, but a Snowball from the low ground is going to put a stop to any of that aggression. Screen probably going to walk this one off, although they'll look for the turn onto a moment. The ice shards aren't perfect, but still are going to avoid a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be it. They don't even get the Loosen Beam off on the retreat.
Yeah, mid lane, Slander catching up 12-6 up against the 9-4 of Excalibur, so he has taken over the lane here, has not opted for a point in Drunken Haze to counter up that meta, but doing just fine with 2 levels in Clap and Drunken Brawler. Excalibur gonna pop his meta again, look to find some last hits and recover well in this lane, but for the time being, things looking very good early on for Moscow 5 Int. There is one shining glimmer of hope for HoG, and that is their Puck in the offlane, who's doing very well, 12-2 on the CS board.
Even though he's doing fine in the bottom lane, you can't really say he's winning it either, since the Axe is pretty much unimpeded in his farm. Both of these heroes rushing towards the same item in the Blink Dagger, and Tranquil Boots for the Axe as well as Bother again delay that a little bit. Up towards top, potential for some aggression, looking for a stomp, does land on Screen as well as the Luna, but a little too far into the tower for them to go for the dive. Both teams just trading blows.
Yeah, I'm going to find a lot of aggression in this top lane. Ice Shards are going to go out, not going to latch on anyone, and we'll see the last hit going with the Loosen Beam.
Puck dropping incredibly low down towards bottom as Axe gets a handful of very lucky spins.
Yeah, 3 levels in that counter. Helix gonna pay dividend there, but doesn't quite garner him a kill. Excalibur rotating to the bot rune is gonna find a bounty and fill up his bottle there, so we'll find a little bit of lane sustainability. ZXC looking pretty low in this off lane, and he's gonna have to rotate back towards the tower, try and find some last hits under there. Perhaps he'll ferry out a Sal, but we will see mid lane Boots of Speed coming out for Slander on the Brewmaster.
Yeah. Still, Tusk is behind the Brewmaster, and once they get level 6 on the Slander, killing off Excalibur is very easy. With any rotation, and even solo, Slander can look to get that kill. Screen shows himself in the lane, and then casually walks it off. This is gonna scare Terrorblade a little bit, but Excalibur isn't in any immediate trouble, but Slander is just a handful of creeps away from that crucial level 6.
Yep, and they have spotted out screen here, so we'll see if there's any aggression at top lane, but ZXC actually backing off towards base, so he will be fine for the time being. There is a snowball being channeled up here, but gonna think better of it is the Tusk. He's gonna wrap around, and Excalibur is hiding in the tree line here. They're gonna perhaps throw the ice shards out. They are off of cooldown, but they will rotate downwards towards the south. Snowball is there with the Brewmaster contained. Thunderclap to go out as well. A few right clicks, TP rotations coming in. There are the shards. The Primal Split is going to be committed, and actually the TP was cancelled, so they do bait out the Primal Split, but certainly worth a kill on the Terrorblade at this point, especially not losing anything in the other lanes.
Definitely. It's a huge win for Moscow 5 International, and that extra 100 gold wasted on the TP is just going to be icing on the cake. Vengeful Spirit and Luna can handle this lane pretty effectively by themselves, and looking for Jalopy. The Magic Missile is going to be fogged. Jalopy's a little too deep. Right now PGG is still trading hits with him, although going for this kill is unlikely. Still going to be looking for it. He has another wave Magic Missile off of cooldown. Can he get in range for the missile? He is there, and now bringing in the Gush. PGG's now in a bit of an awkward situation, going to be obliterated by that heal bomb. Jalopy's still surviving on the backlines, and they turn into Screen. Screen is going to be able to walk this one off, but bottling up. Slashstrike is going to have a Gush cooling down in 1 second. He's going to lay it in his ZXC, but they bring in Slander from the bottom. They do have the clap, and if that connects, could be a very easy kill into a moment, but just can't find the range. Right now, everybody in the snowball. This is the range that they needed. No gets the crit. Clap going to miss, however, in a moment's going to survive. They go into the Tidehunter, but with 1 point up into that Kraken Shell, as well as 2 into the Anchor Smash. It might not be the easiest to kill, so get the Sync Charges off, as well as 1 more Anchor Smash, and under tower, it's too deep for them to dive as Slander's dropping low. Everybody's low, but nobody's falling up in this top lane.
Yeah, very nice zoning stomp out from the Elder Titan. A little tardy on that Thunderclap was Slander out of the snowball, and they're able to get away on both the ET and the Tide, so no one going to drop there except PGG a little bit earlier on. Nice play by HoG to converge for that heal bomb and finish him off, but in the meantime, Necroman farming in the bot lane and as well as the puck, but Necroman is the king on the CS charts. 37-4 is his score at this point.
Yeah, going to be well on his way towards that Blink Dagger. Inside the jungle, they spot ice onto Excalibur, but since it's just the Venge, PGG can't really go for that kill solo, at least safely. Either way, this Axe is going to be the real playmaker for Moscow 5 once he does get that Blink Dagger. He has Culling Blade as well, so there is some potential for ganks pre that, especially if he gets something like a Haste Rune inside his bottle. Right now, it's a DD.
Yeah, and House of Gamers looking to deal with this Axe. As we mentioned, he's going to be fairly influential. There's a 3-man smoke movement bottom, so he is playing fairly safe, and there is no vision in this jungle right now to scout him out, so good game sense from him. No one quite on the map at this point. He is going to rotate back. There will be a smoke rotation from Screen and Slander as well into the Dire jungle, and they may find Excalibur. The smoke was popped here, and it looks like we might see simultaneous engagements. Bottom, they're going to place a ward down. They will see Necroman here, but they don't have much lockdown aside from the Echo Stomp, and they won't be able to bring him down, so they will not initiate quite yet. Excalibur may be aggressed onto in the top lane. Screen is going to scout him out here. Snowball at the ready. Ice Shards are going to land, and the Thunderclap will go out as well. Split actually going to be committed here. Not sure if it was entirely necessary from Slander, but once again, high priority kill, and they will bring down the Terrorblade.
Yeah, whether it's necessary or not, you don't want to take any chances with TB. He was level 6, even though he went for the full farming build, maxing out those illusions instead of going for the Sunder. You don't want to give him the chance at all. Necroman in mid, they're TPing onto him, but just can't lock him down. Tidehunter Sands Ravage, but they do have the Dream Pool. TP immediately from Necroman's probably going to succeed. They have the damage they do. Heal Bomb from the Dazzle is going to secure that kill. Cutting it close, but they'll also secure a deny on the mid tier 1.
Yeah, nice little win there for HoG, but their tier 1 in their safe lane is being aggressed onto. We will see Puck pick up the deny there. Here comes the Tidehunter. There's no Ravage quite at the ready yet. He does need at least a couple more last hits, and we should be able to find it with the remainder of this wave, and perhaps they look to engage off of that as the rest of the lineup is rotating inwards from the east.
They get the Gush onto Screen, and Ravage is at the ready. They'll probably have to commit it pretty soon. Tidehunter's out by himself. Stomp lands onto Screen, looking for the Ravage. Doesn't drop it yet. Slashstrike has caught Screen out inside the trees, and is going to be dropped down, although Slashstrike now completely isolated away from the rest of his team. He's got to commit the Ravage for this one, looking for a turnaround. PGG dropping incredibly low with the Grave on the Slashstrike. He might be able to walk out of this, although he's completely body blocked off by Slander. That's just not a man fight you can win. Ravage down and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so nice little win there for M5. They bait out the Ravage, and it doesn't garner them any kills. So big play from them. They also had ZXC farming the bot lane. He's now found his level 6, so Eclipse at the ready for this Luna. And things looking fairly good for them. Taking a look at the metrics, about equilibrium in net worth, only a 500 net worth lead, and experience about the same as well. So odds prior to the game are pretty accurate up to this point. Score is 6-5, 10 minutes in.
For sure, the XC down bottom is going to need a gush, but Tidehunter solo can't look for this kill. In fact, might be turned around upon with a magic missile as well as the Lucent Beam. Slashtrack dropping low, ends up taking the worst half of that exchange. Eclipse being popped, but mostly absorbed by the creep wave. A couple more auto attacks is all they need. One more Lucent Beam from ZXC is going to secure the kill onto the Tide. Just getting a little too aggressive. Not exactly sure what the plan was there.
Yeah, they knew Ravage was down, and they're able to take advantage of it there. A little bit of unfortunate RNG for ZXC. He did have a couple of those beams hit up on that range creep, but they are able to bring down the Tide with that one last Lucent Beam. And Malum gonna scout out the river here, but Bounty Rune picked up by Necroman. His bottle is full. 1,500 gold on him, is about 700 away from that Blink Dagger at this point.
Yeah, and that's really the item that Moscow 5 International need to do a lot of work inside this game. Again, Slander is going to be partnering up with Tusk, and this is a gank that I've seen before, and it hasn't worked out well for Excalibur. He's currently walking back towards base, however. If they're able to get the snowball into the clap split, most of these heroes on HoG are more or less guaranteed to fall. Puck might be able to elude them.
Yep, coming from the high ground here, Screen is going to wrap around the tree line. He will use his orb to farm here, so perhaps they look to get aggressive on it, but they will think better of it, not wanting to dive behind that tier 2. And we will see Excalibur have to rotate towards this bottom lane, so despite not finding any ganks on them, just their presence in the enemy jungle has staved him off and hindered his farm quite a bit.
It really has. Terrorblade, although he does have level 8, maxed out illusions as well as Metamorphosis, really doesn't do much up towards top. They found a nice Ice Shards on the Slashstrike from the low ground, and now looking for the magic missile. It's going to be immediately purged off, and Slashstrike still surviving. They're going to drop them low. However, the snowball going to be beautifully timed to save all 3 of their lives. Looking for the dunk on the Slashstrike, going to be held by Necroman. Now he gets the decapitation off on the Tidehunter. Magic missile phase shift dodged by Malum as they do bring down the Tusk, I believe, with just a straight illusory orb. Now PGG also going to be dropped down as Malum secures the double kill. Climb from Slander is not going to be dodged. Now a crit further. Slander has the split, but doesn't really want to spend it for this puck and is going to fall back.
Yeah, beautiful snowball there. If that doesn't land, they connect everything.
Excalibur. They just need one more beam from the Luna. He doesn't have his ultimate. Trying for the TP out, gonna cancel it and then get turned around. My goodness, Excalibur, that was a panic moment if ever I did see one.
Not quite making the tree line there, and ZXC does find a nice return kill for the 2-1 top lane that went to HoG's way. That snowball saving the entire lineup of M5 in the river. Blink forward from Necroman. He's gonna find the call with the illusions. Will be able to Culling Blade down that Dazzle. Nice solo kill for him. He utilizes that Blink Dagger as soon as he picks it up, and that's gonna be the cue for aggression here. Slander also picks up his Blink Dagger simultaneously, so 12 minutes in, 2 Blink Daggers coming out for the side of Moscow 5, and they will have an Observer Ward in this bot lane. Gonna scout out the Tusk rotating in, so a moment should be just fine for a moment. And they will aggress onto this tier 1. However, wrapping around is Necroman. There's a Battle Hunger. The shards are going to hit at long range, but the TPs in are going to back them off for now. And perhaps they look to put some chip damage into this tier 1 as top lane. They will scout out Slashstrike. He's going to be brought down with the primal split. And a solo kill going the way of Slander. Actually, the Wave of Terror going to finish him off there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Eclipse being popped. Jalopy going to fall to that. Malum, one more right click is going to fall as well. 3-0 across the map for Moscow 5 in. The Ancestral Spirit not going to be able to bring down Screen here. And they will be able to back off cleanly after engagements both in the top lane and the bottom lane.
This is exactly the timing that Moscow 5 needed to hit hard, and hitting it hard they are doing. With the Blink Daggers up in the Brewmaster as well as the Axe, just finding those aggressive pickoffs before HoG really have comparable tools on their side. Tidehunter, the only Ravage we've seen yet is the one up towards top, which didn't net them anything, and he is miles away from a Blink Dagger, even thinking of picking that one up. And Puck, after that last death, is now only at 800 gold. He's also not going to have that for quite some time in Moscow 5 in. They have the damage advantage and the advantage when it comes to initiation. Terrorblade isn't battle ready yet.
Yeah, pretty much equilibrium at 10 minutes in terms of the metrics. Now you see a spike to over 5k in net worth and around 4k in experience in favor of Moscow 5. Brewmaster and Necroman Slander also on the way to their level 11s here, so 2 big team ultimates for them. In the bot lane though, ZXC is going to be wrapped on. Gush is going to drop out here. Ancestral Spirit Stomp going to land as well as the Ravage, so they commit that. Heal Bomb will finish him off, and actually the Anchor Smash going to be what gets the last hit. Massive TP rotations in. Blink forward from Necroman. They're looking to pincer in Jalopy. The call will be there in time, as well as that Snowball. He's going to get brought down and decapitated. And they will get one return kill, but certainly not worth losing their Luna here.
Then again, it's also Ravage on cooldown, so they have a 2-minute window where they're going to be fighting without Ravage, and Tidehunter's really not a hero without a Ravage. All he really offers inside the team fights is one Gush. So Moscow 5, even though they lose their Luna, I still think this is okay for them, especially if they can find some pickoffs with this time window.
Yeah, and they should be able to find at least an objective, if not those pickoffs you spoke of. Slash Strike gonna have to rotate towards the mid lane. Looks like Excalibur going for that split push on the mid lane tower. They will see some split push from the puck as well. ZXC gonna rotate in to that top lane, however, and he will stave off Malum for the time being. They should find this tier 1 with relative ease. Glyph is available here for the Dire side, and in the mid lane, Screen gonna look to find out Excalibur. He's been hit with the shards and will back off, but no solo kill potential for that Tusk, and he's just gonna stave him from aggressing on that tower. 14-8 is your score, 15.5 minutes in for Moscow 5.
Yeah, stomp on the PGGs, caught out, but that's just the Elder Titan solo, so there's nothing else that can happen there. House of Gamers, all they really need to do is delay, however. This is a game on a timer for Moscow 5 International. They're in a position where they should be comfortable, but they have to keep up this aggression. They spot out Slash Strike up top and obliterate the puck. My goodness, that burst damage coming in from Necroman as well as ZXC.
Yep, easy call for this Axe here. Doing very well, 5-1-0 on the Axe thus far. Slander rotating towards the mid lane. They will scout out just some illusions from Excalibur here, and the Ancestral Spirit may have caught a glimpse of Slander there. Slander will ping out the Spirit himself, so they do know the relative location of this ET, and they are going to tell Scream, make him aware of that, but he is going to jump forward with this Snowball, looking for some solo kill on the Dazzle, but he won't have quite enough burst to do so, and they will look to chase him down thereafter. Will there be a Stomp available? There are TPs in from the Brewmaster. Stomp is going to land onto Screen, but they will back off, knowing that that tier 1 is still standing, and ZXC is split pushing the top lane, so they're a little worried perhaps about their tier 2 at that moment.
Yeah, with only level 1 Stomp, not really a great way for HoG to bridge the gap between them and that Tusk, unless they had a Blink Dagger on the Tide for a Blink Gush or something along that sorts. Malum as well as, Slash Strike are going to be working towards that Blink Dagger, and they are going to have it at a similar timing window if they keep up the current farm rate, but it's very delayed as far as if you compare that to when they'd want to have it. They are more or less running as supports at this point, with a large smoke rotation coming out from Moscow 5, and everybody but the Luna. They're going to look to make a fight happen in mid.
Yep, Necroman does have his Blade Mail available as well. He's going to pop it, jump forward. The call is going to whiff, however, onto the Tidehunter, and they won't find a very important pickoff in the Ravage holder there. Ravage is at the ready, so they can mount a defense here. Excalibur, however, a little bit out of position, as is Malum. Malum TP is still down for 10 seconds, so he won't be able to rotate back toward this mid lane anytime immediately, but Slander not going to find anyone behind the tower, and they are just going to cup the creep wave and look to put some harass into this tower. Ancestral Spirit is going to walk out and look for a Stomp here, but doesn't look like he'll be able to find it on multiple targets.
Yeah, right now it's just Necroman and Slender flexing their muscles. The power of this Axe and Brewmaster is immense, and House of Gamers don't want to fight that head on. They're going to be giving up a tier 2 tower for free.
Yeah, Excalibur finding a little bit of farm in the bot lane, but not going to be quite enough to help him recover in this one. He's sitting on 1,500 gold, but only treads an Aquila at this point, and it looks like they will look to take the Ancient stack perhaps from this Tide if they're not able to find a pickoff. They do ping that out there. It looks like they won't find anyone, as the entire lineup of House of Gamers has pretty much retreated to their base aside from the elusive puck.
Yeah. And Moscow 5 International definitely do have a team that can abuse those Ancients very easily. ZXC with 2 points up in the Glaives. It's not the easiest for the Luna, but then again you have an Axe to tank it up for you, and they can do it very easily. Tier 1 tower up towards top is in deny range, but Luna's going to decide to leave that one be. For what reason, I'm not so sure. But we'll just have to see if that's going to be crucial later on. An Invis Room picked up by the Brewmaster looking for a pickoff, but there's nobody to be found, as all of HoG are currently around the top lane and their own jungle.
Yep, no smoke rotation quite yet. Metamorphosis is going to be pop mid with a couple illusions from Excalibur here. They'll put Slash Strike in the front lines, and Malum will find the tower in the top lane, but it looks like rotations are in mid lane. Lucent Beam, jump in, clap Sunder, though, from Excalibur won't be enough to bring down the Brew. They'll finish him off with the split. Meanwhile, Slash Strike trying to rotate out. Venge not quite in range for a swap here, and should be able to get it off before the TP. However, they will get to the high ground, and he will be able to TP out, so they don't have vision of that. Nice play by Slash Strike, but they do find Excalibur and protect their tier 1 in the mid, so certainly a win despite using the split for Moscow 5.
For sure, and it's a trade that they've been looking for this entire game, and Excalibur just hasn't been able to find anything. 0-4 and 0. Although his CS is looking pretty good at 83 here, at almost 20 minutes into the game, it's not good enough to make up for the fact that he's just been dying way too much.
Yeah, and you take a look at the net worth chart. Top 3 positions on the net worth are possessed by the side of M5, and actually Malum is sitting almost a full K ahead of the Terrorblade as well, so not boding well for their ability to scale into this late game. And an underfarmed Terrorblade is a pretty underwhelming hero. He doesn't have the best base HP pool, and you need to keep him up to get those scary right clicks off with the max out metamorphosis. So they're going to have to rely on the Grave, but once again, as you mentioned, Axe can deal with that top lane coil. Waning Rift and the Earth Splitter going to catch out ZXC. He'll stick up for the time being. Stomp is going to hit though, one last stapler from a moment. They'll bring him down. Meanwhile though, Excalibur is going to fall in the jungle to Necroman, and so still a nice trade. 1 for 1 positions. Luna worth a little bit more here, but Excalibur still being kept down is very crucial for Moscow 5.
That is just not something you expect to have happen. That Elder Titan Earth Splitter was perfect. From Fog, he's able to clip out the Luna from right about this area, drops the splitter, and then with the Dream Pull from the puck, there was not a chance that Luna could actually walk out of that. Blade Mail, call up towards top. This is onto Malum, but he still gets punched in the face and decapitated. My goodness, that puck just, I don't know, got hit with something really hard, coming in like a bullet train. Either way, they are going to TP out, and for now, both teams are going to bump into each other down towards bottom. Magic Missile, but that's all PGG can drop. With the Gush coming out from the Tidehunter, as well as Excalibur on the sidelines, they're going to bring in Slander. 1 second cooldown on the ultimate. They'll bring down PGG first. Slander has to split, and it's going to spend it. Looking for a moment, phasing through that. The Terrorblade is going to be able to get off the Sunder to get to high HP. Doesn't matter, the Elder Titan's going to lose his life, and now with Screen with the Walrus Punch looking towards Excalibur. Actually didn't spend that Sunder, but he does have that. Would be able to get it off, however. He just can't turn with the Snowball. He's dead. Slash Strike's the only one surviving. Will be able to turn for a Gush into Screen, but they're just running all over the enemy team. Grave on Jalopy, sitting at 1 HP, but not for long. He is going to be brought down by Luna Glaive.
Yeah, very nice win in the top lane. Ice Shard's going to go out as well. They're going to look for Slash Strike in the tree line. Jump forward, Berserker's Call. He's going to get decapitated as well. And that's the entire lineup of HoG down, as Malum did fall in that top lane a little bit earlier. And he's just going to look to spam out the wave here, but it should look to be high ground here, as there are no buybacks from the side of HoG on the dead heroes, and Ravage still not up for another 95 seconds, so they certainly have the ability to take a full lane of racks here.
They do. I'm not sure if they really want to spend it. I think they're just going to be happy with forcing out that Glyph and then fall back for a little bit longer. They do have a team that's pretty decent around the Roshan pit and can take it very easily, so I expect that to be one of the next objectives that they go for.
Yeah, and they do pick up a Vlad's on the Brewmaster, so that'll help with the Roche as well with the plus armor. They also have the minus armor from PGG. He's going to find out Malum and bait out the phase shift in the mid lane. Magic Missile not going to be there though before Malum blinks out, and it looks like they will look to put a hit into the economical stash of HoG and take down that ancient stack there, so not going to be able to be farmed up by the Tide or that Terrorblade. And Tidehunter has picked up his blink, but no even arcane boots to speak of on this Tide at this point.
Yeah, definitely not. Blink Ravage is something that you have to respect, but I think Moscow 5 in do have tools that are coming shortly. They'll help them deal with that. Most notably, the BKB on the Luna, but in mid, they found Malum. Will the decapitation come out from Necroman? He's on up with the Waning Rift, and now Shallow Grave's going to save his life. Looking for a long-range Earth Splitter. He is going to miss from the ET, and for now, it's just going to be HoG forced out by nothing more than a blink in from the Axe.
Yeah, so they do not expend much, and they are going to bait out the Earth Splitter as well from that ET, so they can look to find some aggression. They are going to look to find out an illusion in the jungle, but Screen not going to look to chase that too deep, and they do see some illusions now in the bot lane, so they will know that that is fake, and everything going to stagnate for the moment. But it looks like M5 will reconvene and perhaps go towards the Roche pit here, or look to find something bottom lane. They do rotate ZXC in. They do have the Vlads and the Alpha Wolf for the pack leader aura here, and they will be able to bring this down very quickly.
Yeah, especially with the Sigil slowing down his attack speed even more. Roche is not going to have a fun time. Now with the Wave of Terror, Roche is going to be taken down in mere seconds. Necroman has the Crimson Guard completed as well, and Moscow 5 in. This is going to be the time when they're strongest. Just 100 gold, 120 gold, so we have that BKB on ZXC, and that's when they should look for high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. That should be the timing window. 1,500 gold on him. They are going to scout out barely the Dazzle with those Ice Shards, but he will be able to TP out in a timely manner, and they will look to push in this mid lane a bit. The creep wave is a little bit aggressive towards their side, and it looks like Malum will try to do some split pushing with the blink and cut the wave here, but they're already rotating back ZXC end screen. He will be able to jaunt out to the south and should be just fine, but meanwhile Necroman and Slander are going to find the Dazzle in the mid lane, and they can certainly look to go high ground with this. Also, BKB being ferried out for the Luna. Malum perhaps can find this, as they do have a lane ward scouting out this courier. This could be a big pickoff, and they do find a courier snipe here, so that is a little bit of a win for Malum there, but they still can look to go high ground.
They kind of have to. That is the courier down for 2 minutes, but that's 2 minutes that they can't wait. They are going to put a lot of pressure onto this tier 3 tower, so maybe it's okay that they lose the courier since puck is going to be delayed a little bit, but that BKB would have been so useful for them. At the very least, they have a double life on ZXC. Stomp from the other Titan lands on the 3, looking for the Ravage, but where's the follow-up damage for this? Malum on the sidelines, blunk upon by the Brewmaster, gets the split up, and now Malum dropping low, can't do much of anything. Snowball forward, Walrus Punch going to crater the Titan. They're now Excalibur looking to get off that Sunder. Can he even do so? There's not a great target to go for it. He's going to get dunked down by Necroman, going to deny that second life away from the Terrorblade. He has buyback and might or might not be forced to spend it. They get the tier 3 tower, but not much else. Moscow 5 International, they're going to be forced back because of that courier sniper without the BKB. Going for more just isn't on the table.
Yeah, they do lose the Aegis there, but they do bait out a buyback from the Tidehunter there, so nice little usage of that. However, good Ravage from him, but as you mentioned, just not enough follow-up with Malum having to rotate in. But blink forward, Waning Rift, Illusory Orb onto PGG. Few more right clicks. They're even going to commit the coil here. He is going to jaunt out, however. PGG just fine for the time being. Blink forward Gush from Slash Strike will finish him off, but just a little bit of a consolation prize for losing their tier 3 and expending a buyback on that Tide, only picking up the Venge. They may, however, get this tier 1 in the mid, as no glyph is available for the Radiant side.
Looks like it's going to be denied out by Necroman. Actually, no, it's on deny range, so they're not going to get it now, but in the very soon future. Necroman is currently just not feasible to be taken out by the heroes that are close to him. The puck is currently invis, and Mel might be able to find an opening, but if he does, it's going to be without a coil, so more than likely he's just going to be forced to get out of here. Moscow 5, it's time to rinse and repeat. They don't have their courier for a minute, but this next push kind of needs to be the one to end them this game. They only have about 7 minutes or so to work with.
Yeah, unfortunately, PGG still only level 9, so not able to have that level 2 swap for some initiation, but they still do have the 2 Blink Daggers, and they will ping the high ground here, but they're not going to scout out anyone. They won't be seen rotating through others. There's no vision to couple with this Sentry Ward, but they could find a couple of these heroes bot lane. Malum looking to take down the tier 1 in the mid, all by his lonesome. They will have Slander rotating back, and he should be able to deny this up on the Brewmaster. He will be successful in doing so. So unfortunately, Malum not able to rat that one down, and they do have a jump in bottom from Necroman. There's the magic missile as well. The Battle Hunger going to be removed by that Kraken Shell, and he will be able to Anchor Smash and have a little bit more survivability here, but they should be able perhaps to chase him down. Blink is available in 3 seconds. He's going to try and TP out in the tree line. Wave of Terror is going to scout him out. They're not going to grab him in time. And Slash Strike does get out, and he does have the Ravage available in 5 seconds, so that's going to dissuade them from pushing in mid here.
Yeah, right now that would have been a huge pickoff if they're able to actually secure that down, since Tidehunter spent his buyback in the previous fight. Wouldn't have had it for this one. But Necroman, before there, he dropped the call before blinking in onto the Tide, and then the second blink call missed. So actually just wasn't able to stop Tidehunter from TPing out. That's huge for HoG. Yeah,
definitely holding on admirably at this point. Still top 3 in net worth, well on for the ways of M5, and 15k net worth and experience lead in their way. Certainly doesn't feel that way. I mean, we do have HoG that are cornered to their side of the map, but they really haven't been able to break high ground, and they will look to find this last outer tier tower in the top as they regroup as a full 5-man squad for M5.
Yeah, if this game had a normal game timer, Moscow 5 weren't racing the clock, I'd say that they're pretty comfortable taking this game, but HoG, they don't actually need to win. They just need to stall out for another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so there is a timer there, something we mentioned early on, as they're going to run in to the Tidehunter on the high ground, but the Axe won't be able to get a call off here. He may find it, however, in the mid lane. Blink at the ready, but will not look to aggress in on this Tidehunter, as he doesn't have the rest of his squad with him. Ancestral Spirit is going to scout out the Tusk as well as PGG. But a little bit of split pushing happening from Excalibur as well as Malum. They both have TPs and are ready to mount a defense here, but their Raxes are exposed, and the BKB is now up on ZXC, so they will put him in the front lines as the battering ram. Weave going to go out onto 3 from the Dazzle, but Luna pushing pretty quickly with those glaives, and they will be able to bring down this wave and put a lot of chip damage. Blink forward from Necroman. He is going to phase shift the call, however, but he will get used up in the mid lane. And the call is going to whiff from the phase shift again. Split committed on the backlines. They're not going to find quite anything. Here's the Earth Splitter. Should be able to catch on too with the coil. Very nice synergy there. BKB going to be popped as well as the Eclipse. They're going to bring down the Tide with ZXC, but he's getting right-clicked down by Excalibur. The snowball and the call, however, they will be able to decapitate that Terrorblade. No buybacks on him as well as the Tide. Force forward on Jalopy. He will survive for the time being, but they will be able to bring down this melee Rax here. They haven't lost any yet. Weave is going to go out onto 4, but there's no follow-up, and they will bring down a full lane of Rax here. HoG trying to hold on. Jump forward, Waning Rift from the puck. The Stomp is there on 2 as well. But they don't have any follow-up to bring down this Tusk, and they won't lose anyone. Immediate smoke from M5. They get a full lane of Rax and the Terrorblade and the Tide kills there. And definitely content with their spoils. Looking to go back in. Jump forward. Berserker's Call onto Malem. Clap is there. One more drunken baller. Right click from Slander. No buyback available on the puck as well. And they can look to continue here, but everyone pretty low from the side of M5 in. Looks like they will be content with their spoils for the time being.
They just don't have the sustain to keep up this push right now, and they kind of need to. I don't know, House of Gamers, in a normal game, this would feel like it's almost over. If you look at the advantage that Moscow 5 Int have taken as far as Golden Experience is concerned, as well as being a barracks up. But Moscow 5 Int, they need to destroy the Ancient. This is not a game where they can just win. They have to win, and win the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, so HoG should certainly know what their goal is at this point, and is just to stall out. M5, knowing their timing window, should be looking to regroup and convene towards the mid lane once again, but a couple of their big cooldowns are still a ways away. 20 seconds from the primal split, so not bad there. Eclipse from Luna is down for a bit. 9-second BKB is available now for this Luna as well. And Ag's going to be built into by Necroman, but not sure if he'll have it quite by the end of this game. If it does end sub 33 minutes, he has 3 components to it, so only 1,000 gold away. But they are going to have to look to push within the next couple minutes and end this game.
Yeah, this kind of feels like the last push for Moscow 5 Int. If they don't make everything work now, it could be all over for them as far as their seeding potential in the finals. This isn't going to knock them out of the tournament by any means. They've been doing just fine throughout the entire JDL Season 4, but it's definitely something that they want to win.
Yeah, Blink Dagger up on screen as well now. Not sure if I mentioned that pickup prior to this engagement. Now they do have 3 modes of engagement in the Brew, Axe, and the Tusk. And mid lane, they will scout out the Tidehunter as well as the Dazzle, so they are going to look to go into the high ground on this bottom lane. Stomp is going to catch on 1 as well as the Illusory Orb. That's the Luna. And ZXC dropping a little bit low here, but should be just fine to walk up high ground. Gonna pop that Manta and look to put some damage into this tier 3. No defense being mounted. Jump forward. Berserker's Call onto Malem. This is a big target if they're able to bring him down. Call's gonna be a little bit early though. Earth Splitter is gonna hit on 2. Eclipse is gonna go out. They will find 1 with the split and the Polar Punch there. And the Waller's Punch bringing it down. Nice decapitate on Jalopy. Swap back onto a moment right into the Call. Magic Missile as well. That's 3 down. Elder Titan gonna buy back instantly. No buyback available for the Dazzle or the Tide. They'll bring down this Rax very quickly, and they will look to perhaps go T4s or for the Megas here. They have less than a minute at this point to make 33-18, and perhaps they should look for tier 4s here, but they are going for the Mega Creeps. Jump forward. Waning Rift is there from Malem, and he will bring down PGG. Crimson Guard going to be popped from Moscow 5 in. Illusory Orb goes out forward onto ZXC. Stomp is going to be there on the Luna. Blink forward from the Axe though. Call is going to go down. Force Staff not going to be able to get Malem away. He's going to buy back instantly, however, and they will have to back off from the side of M5 in. Will they find a kill here? ZXC looks to be going down. One last right click from the Elder Titan. They will bring down the Luna. Manta Illusion's not going to be enough to bring down these racks. And it looks like HoG will hold on to win that time rating.
Yeah, this game technically isn't over, but even if Moscow 5 Int win here, they don't win according to the standings. So right now they're fighting for pride. And in the meantime, while that was going on, going for that second lane, Terrorblade was playing Terrorblade Dota and going for racks of his own up towards top. TP in from the screen did put an end to that, but still puts a lot of damage onto the range and melee barracks. If you focused onto the melee, probably would have been able to take it. And if you focused on the range, same story. But just going for the greedier play is going to cost Excalibur that one lane.
PGG going to swap himself forward in the mid lane, but is going to be chased down. The heal bomb is there. One more right click needed. Jump forward from Malem. He's actually going to catch a magic missile in the face. Clap has gone out on the backside. Walrus Punch is there. Jalopy's going to get the grave off. Malem will be able to bring down PGG, and Jalopy will be able to TP out under the cover of Shallow Grave. So they get a nice clean pick off on the Venge there, but certainly not the most significant thing at this point in the game. One thing to note, Moscow 5 still will take second in these three teams, as it did take Album Sheet 50 minutes. In the river, though, jump forward from Necroman. Call is going to be there on Malem. He will be able to phase shift this away, but Shards will be there to cancel the blink and decapitate from Necroman. Gonna finish off the puck. No buyback available. He's down for 78 seconds at this point, and this should sound the final push, perhaps, from Moscow 5 as PGG respawns.
For sure. There's not really anything stopping Moscow 5 Int, and at this point they could probably wait for the butterfly to be complete on Luna if they really wanted to, but even without it, they could probably just throw bodies at this top set of racks and secure megas for themselves. And even though HoG might be able to push out against the mega creeps themselves, mega creeps in Moscow 5, or plus Moscow 5 Int, just isn't possible. Terrorblade Rat Dota is pretty much the only thing they're relying upon, and right now Excalibur just doesn't have the items to shove out the waves fast enough.
Yeah, Slander just going to be the battering ram for his squad here, standing on the high ground completely unabated. And force forward, however, the Ravage will get cancelled with a call. Decapitate, the tide goes down. This is huge for the side of Moscow. They'll bring down Excalibur as well. Two going down quickly. Jalopy next to fall. He will get decapitated through that grave, and there's the GG. Gonna come out here. Buyback from the Terrorblade. They are looking to delay this as long as possible, but Moscow 5 pushing down through the T4s. Stomp should be there on quite a few, but they'll swap back to Terrorblade. He's gonna catch a magic missile as well. Berserker's Call is there. They'll bring down the TB, and Moscow 5 looking to be able to do it here. Glyph is gonna get popped. Shards are gonna zone out the Elder Titan for the time being. TP's forward from Malem. Not going to find much. Tries to bring down the wave. Stomp on a couple. Coil was there as well. But Ancient is going to fall. Moscow 5 are able to do it in this one, so they will secure second place. But HoG delaying past 33 minutes and 18 seconds, and they will still take first overall in this JDL tiebreaker for Europe Division 1. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is HeflaTV. I am Morrich, please. I am joined by Grandis V. Grandis, any final thoughts on the game?
Well, unfortunately, that's the only game we're having here tonight, as that was the only best one that was actually played, because Denial and Lions was a forfeit in the favor of Lions. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon. But yeah, that is going to be the standings for the JDL.
Yep, so gonna finish second overall for Moscow 5, unfortunately. Not able to do it in the timing window. Guys, you can find me over at MRP_Dota on Twitter. You can find GrandisV at GrandisV, and you can always follow us, of course, on HeflaTV on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.com/HeflaMoke for all your VODs. This one will be up fairly soon. Thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you soon with more coverage. This is MRP signing out.